over time, I kept taking the same questions from clients again and again
Mm.
and again, started writing them down as FAQs. And then one year, as a New Year's resolution, I said, why don't I turn this into a blog?
Mm.
And I did. So that was kind of how I got started on this topic and feeling like I had something to say to the universe. But, a blog is such a low risk way to put your thoughts out in the world, because I think we all suffer with imposter syndrome, and whether the things we have to say are worthwhile. And that was a great way for me to learn that what I had to say, did mean something to the universe.
Yeah, that's so good. I think what's interesting to me about that is you're all getting asked questions probably every day. You're all probably replying in writing to many of those questions, right? And I don't know why it drives me crazy to ever have something like just sit in a one-to-one communication. I should be fine with that. It's fine. But my point is, you're already writing the stuff often. And just thinking of that as like a sign. I always think of it as sort of tailwind, like little nudges in the right direction. I can't imagine sitting down and trying to figure out what I would write a book on. But what I can imagine is looking back and saying, look at all these questions I've answered in email already. As soon as you get asked a question a second time, in my brain, and this was late 90s, early 2000s, in my brain, I was like, well, I've been asked twice. Maybe I should make it public. So I think it's super smart of you to notice those nudges. And often we make up narratives with the benefit of hindsight, but it is interesting to look back and say, hey, I was getting asked a lot about this. There must be a reason that people are asking. Greetings, Carl Richards here. The clip you just watched was just a little snippet of my recent private conversation that I had with Shauna Dew and Ann Garcia. It was part of the April worldwide chapter meeting of the Society of Advice. And we talked about how and why to write a book. How and why you, and I actually believe this, I think every financial advisor, at least the real ones like you, I would love everyone to write a book in air quotes, right? It doesn't need to be a long thing. Don't worry. We talk all about that, right? But I think everybody should write a book. You know why? Because the people out there need you. And so what Shauna, Ann, and I talked about were the tactical stuff. Sure, we talked about how to write, how to schedule it, what to do in the editing process, how to find somebody to help you edit, how to think about publishing or self-publishing, how to deal with all your fancy feelings about all that, like all the tactics. But you know what's interesting to me, and this is continually coming up, knowing what to do is actually quite simple. There's a million courses and workshops and books about how to write a book. How to write the book, knowing what to do is simple. Having the confidence to actually do it is really hard. And that was my favorite part of our conversation, was how to not how to resolve, but how to live with that creative tension of thinking that you have something important to say, right? The feeling you have almost that you have a voice down there, and being super worried, super scared about doing it. How do you deal with that tension? How do you use that tension as fuel? That was my favorite part of this conversation. So that's what we do at the worldwide chapter meeting of the Society of Advice. That's what we do. And I think you would love it. You know what, though? You don't have to take my word for it. We've set up a free trial. So just take the free trial, see what you think of the Society of Advice, and let me know. Thanks, my friends.